Welcome back, everybody. Moody with Alpha Getty Investments here to talk to you about Timmy boxes. Loot boxes. Ah! Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here today, lurking in Rudy's home to talk specifically about loot boxes, the legislation that is coming, and how will it impact Magic the Gathering. Is Magic the Gathering gonna go away? got a little bit of that Rudy love in me. A little bit of that, hey, look at me, I'm all over the place. Anyhow, for those of you who don't know, which I imagine are very, very few of you, that Magic the Gathering is something that people have been wondering if the new loot box legislation is going to affect. If you don't know what loot boxes are, well, a good example of the insanity of loot boxes are things like the new age sports games, where whether you're playing soccer, baseball, does anybody play the baseball games? I don't know. Anyways, let's say you're playing like a FIFA soccer game. Well, they give you your team to start with, right? But if you want particular players or things like that, let's say you want Hoopity Jupe number 47 and he's big. I'm big Mr. Soccer Balls. I've got the biggest soccer balls around, Timmy. Well, let's say you want that card, but they make them super, super rare, okay? So you only got like a 0.01% chance of getting them. And what you gotta do is you gotta buy these randomized booster packs. That's essentially what they are. They call them loot crate, loot boxes. They have all kinds of different names for them, but they're really just loot boxes. That's the overall term. And it's just something where you have a randomized chance of getting some in-game object, but there's usually a really low chance you'll get anything good. And essentially the problem is it's considered gambling. Now, you guys may not know this, some of you may not know this, but Magic has its roots in gambling. Every game of Magic used to be gambling, really, because we had ante, where we would play for each other's cards, right? So you would actually play for each other's physical cards. The winner got to keep them, like marbles back in the day. Are you an old guy like me? Did you play with the little glass spheres and you bloop, oh, I got into the middle. I get to take your cat's eye, buddy. I got your steelies, son. Yeah, so Magic started out as gambling. Now, why did this go away? Why did ante go away? Well, it's actually because Wizards of the Coast, they wanted people to be able to play Magic in tournaments, but the problem was the places that they originally went to use, which were mainly places like churches, were like, no, we don't allow gambling on our premises, that kind of thing. So Wizards of the Coast actually went ahead and removed ante from the game altogether to avoid this gambling controversy, right? Now, flash forward to the present day where loot boxes are the new gambling problem. Specifically, we are talking about the type of gambling that's aimed towards kids. So they look at games and they go, okay, you know what? This is gambling. We can't have children involved in gambling. There was this big deal with, I think the game was CSGO, and they had these skins website, and skins are just, oh, check it out, I can make my rifle look like a tuna fish or whatever. You can just make something look like something else, and there was all this gambling going on where kids were going up and they were going, Mama, may I have the milk money in my PayPal? And the mother goes, here's your little milk money, Billy. And then little Billy, oh wait, no, you know what, whose house are we at right now? Little Timmy runs off and goes, I'm gonna go and gamble, I mean, they don't think about it as gambling. The way it's presented to them is it's pretty much a surefire thing. But it is sort of a predatory thing, specifically when it's aimed towards kids. So we start to get these stories where all of a sudden kids are spending a whole bunch of their parents' money. There was actually a story in the news recently where basically these parents went ahead, and the dad, I believe it was, bought a booster pack in one of these games for one of their kids, bought one of these loot crates for one of their little Timmy kids, and like, here you go, have fun. But the problem is, the little Timmies, they got their eyeballs on the prize. So they're watching what dad did, and they replicated it again and again and again, not knowing that every time they did it, that it was costing Papa money. Now, obviously, people will come along and go, well, that's the parent's responsibility for not having a tight hold on whatever, and to a degree, they are correct. But it doesn't change the fact that these are predatory practices designed to take advantage of people. Even if we remove children from the subject, it's designed to take advantage of adults with addictive personalities. And Magic the Gathering, and this is something that I've been thinking about more and more as time goes by, Magic the Gathering has a lot of people who have addictive personalities. Opening booster packs, think about it. I mean, you know what they call this game. You know what they call this game. It's called Cardboard C-Rack. You know what I'm saying? So we've got a situation where people just crack booster pack after booster pack after booster pack, trying to get the cards that they want. And people look at it, they look at the way that the booster packs work, and they look at the way that Arena works, and they say, well, wait a minute. Is this loot crate legislation going to mean the end of Magic the Gathering? Because if you look at it, the games like FIFA, where originally you would buy one of these games, I'm old enough to remember the days, I mean, I never played these games, but you would go out and buy the 2000 edition or the 1999 edition of NHL, right? And what do you get? You get every team as they are with all the players. You can pick who you're going to play as, whatever. These new sports games go, no. We want you to pay for these randomized packs where you're going to get whatever cards. So Magic does have that kind of a vibe to it, right? Where it's like you're not guaranteed any particular cards. And another thing you need to know about Magic, in case you didn't know, you don't have an equal chance of getting any rare from each pack. There is something known as box mapping that now is more likely done by like a shadow cabal in the shadows there. I mean, there wouldn't be a shadow cabal if they weren't in the shadow sun. But anyways, box mapping is now something that's gone underground because Wizards of the Coast was paying attention to it and would try and make tweaks to catch you here and there. But if you actually go and look at old information about box maps, which are mathematically correct, okay? I've used these maps. They work. So the math behind these maps indicates that Wizards of the Coast actually prints rares on different tracks. The last time we had open information about it, it was A, B, C, and D tracks. And the thing about the D track is the D track was printed 20% more than any other track. And what this means is any rare that's in that D grouping would be printed at a much higher frequency than other rares, meaning you're going to get more copies. Plus, on top of that, they also selected one rare from the D track and printed X additional copies of it as well. So in each sequence, there would be far more of particular rares, and it's done this way on purpose. You can see it if you sit down and open a bunch of packs of Core 2020, you will notice all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting multiples of certain rares the way that this is going. It's not evenly distributed. Track printing is very much a thing, where Wizards of the Coast actually make sure that you don't get an equal chance of all these different rares. Why do they do that? Obviously, because it means they can sell more booster packs to you. So I'm bringing this information up because it will become relevant as we discuss this whole loot box thing as we go along. The loot box scenario and legislation may indeed have an impact on Magic the Gathering. Now, do I think it will be the end of Magic the Gathering? No, and there's multiple reasons for this. One of the key things you need to be aware of about this loot box legislation is that the problem is gambling with kids. The problem isn't gambling overall, because obviously gambling is allowed. If you look around, there are casinos out there, lottery tickets. You are allowed to gamble. You're allowed to waste your money if you're an adult. But if you're a kid, no, you're not allowed to do that. So, in terms of this loot box legislation affecting physical Magic cards, I don't believe that's going to happen, because in the past, there were actually lawsuits brought against like baseball card manufacturers, and baseball card manufacturers are like the precursor to Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is similar to baseball cards, except you can play with them. Actually, on a funny note, when I first got into Magic cards when I was a kid, my dad bought me a box of hockey cards, thinking I was just into like collecting cards. He got me a box of hockey cards, and I was momentarily okay, where I went through it and tried to like build a set out of the cards that I had, but couldn't play with them. So I was like, when you combine the fact that you can play with the cards with the addictive nature of gambling and what you can get in a pack, Magic was a surefire hit in that regard. But regardless, sports card companies had lawsuits brought against them specifically about this whole loot box style mentality and not giving you an equal chance of getting any cards, but none of that information being available on the packs, right? Like, for example, right now, when you get a pack of Magic cards, you know what your chances of getting a foil card are, but you have absolutely no concept of what the chances of getting any particular rare are. And they don't want to disclose that information because people would be angry if they actually knew, hey, wait a minute, you actually know what are going to be the best and worst cards, and you make sure we get more copies of the worst rares intentionally because that means we'll buy more packs hoping to get these cards. And this sort of thing doesn't just apply to rares. Have you ever noticed that you'll open up boxes and things like that, and it's like, wow, they're really good uncommons. I don't seem to be getting that many copies of these. Yeah, there's a reason for that. This stuff is all kajiggered in a way to make sure that you will keep coming back and paying and paying. But physical Magic is not, like, the most that could happen to physical Magic is them being forced to disclose the odds of you getting something in a booster pack. But at this point, I believe the ship has sailed on affecting physical Magic in any way, shape, or form. Now, digital Magic is a big difference, especially because of the push that Wizards of the Coast has been making to basically push the age of Magic players downwards. The game has become less of an adult game over the years. It's very noticeable. You can see it in the taming down of the artwork in many ways, especially when it comes to anything revealing lovely, luscious lady chests. Anything like that has been really diminished and pushed downwards. Also, Wizards of the Coast has made it very noticeable on their website. They show these small children playing Magic the Gathering. I don't know what the name of that little girl is. I think her name's Dana or something like that. She gets dressed up like a planeswalker, and Wizards pushes all this stuff. The book that came out, War of the Spark, honestly, originally, Wizards of the Coast wanted the main character, Teo, to be younger than he is. The author asked if he could make him a bit older, kind of deal. As far as I understand, that's what happened. But either way, there are a number of points that come together to say that Wizards of the Coast is definitely trying to skew their demographic into the under 18 area, right? I mean, Magic is rated like 13 and above. It's like that, like PG-13, but they've really moved into the realm of more like PG, and you could almost argue G-rated. Magic is almost G-rated. And that's part of where they're going to run into problems with this legislation, most likely. Again, remember, everything I say here is my opinion. I'm not stating everything definitively as fact here. But anyways, it looks to me like with the kid issue, with them pushing more towards kids, they're going to get more scrutiny in this regard. Arena could be in trouble. I mean, yes, it is a mirror of physical cards, and the physical cards will probably be fine. But digital card games, specifically ones that deal with kids, are being targeted. If it seems like your demographic is mainly for kids, and I mean, with the flashy animations, all the bells and whistles, and the art changes and everything they've made, I think that there is definitely an argument that could be made for them going towards the whole, you know what, we're aiming this towards kids. And as a result, the government could step in and say, you know what, you qualify under this loot box stuff, you have to make these changes. And that would require some modifications to the way that Arena works. One would be they would have to disclose to us the odds of getting every particular rare. So instead of just being able to go 1 out of every 30 packs or whatever it is, because this is the only odds we're given on Arena currently, 1 out of every 30 packs has a mythic rare in it, or a mythic wild card, I should say. That's pretty much the only odds they give us. They would actually be forced to post a chart indicating what every single, like the chances of getting every particular rare and mythic rare was from each booster pack you buy. Now, I don't know if they would be forced to disclose it for commons and uncommons as well. I don't know the exact level. They may actually have to go to the level where they'd have to disclose the odds for every single card. And that would be interesting. It would be nice to have that information on the table so that people could see without any shadow of a doubt that they do, in fact, ensure that you have a lesser chance of getting the most desirable cards as a way of selling you more booster packs. That's how they make their money. The majority of Wizards of the Coast money is made specifically through selling you booster packs. There are exceptions. You have your Mythic Edition Timmy boxes that people are buying, right? Where they're essentially selling you 8 Planeswalkers, and the booster packs are just there as, come on, really. They're selling you the singles. Same way with the signature spell books, right? This is Wizards of the Coast entering into the singles market. But the majority of the time, it's through booster packs. So Wizards is incentivized to ensure that you do not get the best cards. And they know what the best cards are. They have a PowerPoint system that they use to make sure that sets don't end up being too strong overall. They introduced it all the way back in Mirrodin block when Mirrodin kicked the door in and screwed everything up, and they're like, okay, we need a new system. So they assign certain amounts of power throughout a set, and it has to be distributed around. So they know what the most powerful and most desirable cards are going to be. And as a result, they can make sure you have a lesser chance of getting those while still letting you think oh look, all rares are equal. Like if you open a pack and you think, I'm gonna get a rare, you think to yourself mathematically, I have a chance of getting any rare, and an equal chance of getting any rare. So this legislation could turn around and say, all right, you can't do that. You have to actually go ahead and disclose the odds. On top of that, it may also require Arena to actually verify that every single person purchasing booster packs from them is 18 and above. That may happen to physical Magic cards, but honestly, this legislation seems specifically targeted towards online virtual objects. So I think that the likelihood of physical Magic having any real impact on it is negligible. But if they were forced to reveal the odds to us on Arena packs, it'd be much easier to point to those and go, look, this is what they're doing to us in physical as well. Because there are some people who still refuse to believe that Wizards of the Coast does print these cards at the same rarity, at different frequency, in an attempt to cajole more money out of you. But that is definitely what's going on according to the math, in my opinion, my friends. That's how I look at it. So overall, I'm saying that this new loot box legislation will not lead to the end of Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is not going anywhere. The game will be sticking around. This will have little to no impact on physical Magic, and it may have a significant impact on Arena. It may make a huge difference for Arena. We'll have to see specifically, because like it is arguable. Magic the Gathering is different than your FIFA or sports games. They don't sell you everything at once. The entire thing is based off of booster packs. And Wizards of the Coast has been very careful to stay out of the secondary market in terms of actually acknowledging it. They disavow it, and that way they can pretend that what they're selling has no worth. And if what they're selling has no worth, then you can't argue that they're actually, oh, we're trying to keep you from the more valuable things, because none of it has value. So underneath it all, those are my views on the loot box scenario. I've been asked by a number of people about this, so I figured it was time to cover the subject. Now I want to give a special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. Thank you for supporting this loot box of a human being. And remember, my friends, together we are the sixth color of magic.